So I think that the biggest problem facing Santiago, Chile, is the method of power generation that they use for producing electricity. Um, where I read a paper called uh, Accessing the Environmental Sustainability of Electricity Generation in Chile, Science of the Total Environment. And the issue was made evident by a study which showed that over the past 10 years, the amount of electricity produced has increased by 40%, 44%, but the negative effects on the environment have increased by what it claimed was 60 to 170%. So the amount of effect that the negative effects are quite disproportionate to the amount of electricity increase, indicating that the sustainability of the electricity production is not being taken into consideration, and that if anything, over the past 10 years, the electricity production has become less sustainable and not more sustainable, which is really unfortunate. And the paper took a look at how different methods of electricity production affected the environment, and the study could tell, it made it obvious that coal and oil are the main methods by which energy or electricity is produced right now. And so and those are obviously the least environmentally sustainable. It showed that it made it clear that those methods of electricity production need to be phased out because of their decreasing environmental stability and sustainability. And they also looked at natural gas, biomass, hydro, wind as other methods of electricity production. Wind and biogas and hydro were the three methods which they suggested should become the new methods of electricity production. And they also noted that natural gas, which has one of the larger infrastructures built for it, can be used during the transition. They essentially suggest that oil and coal be completely phased out now, and that the just because they have seriously negative effects. The natural gas has much fewer negative effects, though not sustainable. It has a much lower negative effect. So they suggest keeping natural gas to not have such a negative impact on the existing infrastructure and the existing need for electricity, and you just ramp up natural gas while you're working on slowly ramping up hydro, wind, and biogas. Also, they did show that hydro is going to be your best, most sustainable option. So they suggest investing the most in hydro as a means of electricity production in order to create a more sustainable future, and also wind and biogas as the other two means. And ideally, natural gas would either be significantly reduced or completely phased out. And if it's only reduced to an amount where essentially net zero or better is achieved with the offset of hydro biomass and wind. So yeah, that's what I learned.